Welcome to video tutorial by Zhax-Science. Today we are talking about the crime scene reconstruction. Here are the crime scene reconstruction, types of crime scene reconstruction, steps in scene reconstruction, and the importance of crime scene reconstruction. What is crime scene reconstruction? Is the construction of a crime scene, usually to understand the events that might have occurred during the period. Understanding of the area of the crime scene, the position of the physical evidence, the body of a victim, etc. It helps to get an idea of the events leading to a crime. It usually include logical crime scene investigation, understanding of the scene design evidence, and the research center, assessment of physical evidence. In addition, a methodical investigation of related data. So, in this way, the crime scene reconstructionist is able to assemble the necessary puzzle pieces to make the picture visible. Information from the crime scene now. So you will find that from the crime scene, you will see concrete evidence. And if you analyze better, you can see a mode of operation. You can also link people, link the suspect uh, from the crime scene. You can also identify the victim if maybe the body is burned to ashes. Now, provide the witness and suspect statement, identification of suspects, identification of unknown substance. Uh, so those improve the investigation leads. As you know that uh, as you know that on the crime scene, we can also use the deductive and the inductive reasoning. So what is the deductive reasoning? Deductive reasoning is a type of deduction used in science and in life. It is when you take two true statements or premises to form a conclusion. For example, if I say A is equal to B, then I say again B is equal to C. Then I can say A is equal to C. So that is deductive reasoning. So what is the inductive reasoning? It's a method of reasoning in which a body of observation is synthesized to come up with a general principle. For example, if I say, I see flies in my backyard every summer, so I can hypothesize that this summer I will probably see the flies in my backyard. So, so you will find physical evidence on a crime scene. What is physical evidence? So you'll find that crime scene may be reconstructed through the study and interpretation of scene pattern and the examination of physical evidence. Now, for example, is there blood splatter in the crime scene? Is there evidence of a struggling marks? Or is there any bullet entrance and exit? For example, if you find a wound suspected that is a gunshot wound, is there an entrance and exit? All of this goes into reconstructing the crime scene. The goal of crime scene reconstruction is to solve the crime and bring justice to the perpetrator. Now, because of this, evidence must prove the defendant guilt in a criminal trial beyond a reasonable doubt. So, where to start when you are doing a crime scene? So normally we find that in the process of reconstruction, a crime scene reconstruction always begins with the victim or the victim. If the victim is living, the victim must be interviewed. If the victim is dead, those who are involved or were close to him or to her are interviewed instead. So their background is thoroughly researched as well as their state of mind and health status. So the appearance of the crime scene itself must be photographed, and the location of all objectives in the room carefully documented. And as you know, we highlighted later that documentation is done by several methods. For example, note taking, sketching, photograph, and videography if it is possible. Crime scene must not be altered, and investigators must approach the scene with an open mind. No assumption must be made which are not supported by evidence. You have to know that each crime scene is a new scene. So there are a few basic questions that an investigator must ask at the beginning of a reconstruction. So those include what happened, what really happened in this case, at this crime scene. All right, where did it happen? Where did it happen? How did it happen? And when did it happen? How or who was involved? Why did it happen? So, as the investigator consider those questions along with the forensic evidence and possible motives, he or she also consider the fact that the physical evidence always story. So recognition and the identification of physical evidence is a critical issue on the crime scene. So basing on physical properties, biological properties, chemical properties, and the morphological properties of a physical evidence. So what is physical property? So you find that physical property is one which can be observed without changing the symbol. The biological property we consider uh, might have come from the living thing, as well as the chemical properties, chemical structure can only be observed by changing a chemical change. You see, and the morphological properties we consider the size, shape, color, state, source, and origin of the evidence. So classification of reconstruction types. So in this tutorial, a specific type of incident reconstruction. So one is accident reconstruction. So you find that in accident reconstruction, there's traffic accident reconstruction, there's industrial or constructional accident reconstruction. For traffic, we have traffic collision reconstruction, which is the process of investigating, analyzing, and drawing conclusion about the cause and events during a vehicle collision. So, consider the role of a driver, the vehicle status, roadway, and the general environment. So you find that physics and engineering principles are the basis for this analysis in all accident reconstruction. So other types of transport accidents it includes train, airplane, or boat accident. But for industrial now, for example, on the job training, on the job, employee accidents, building collapse, machinery, etc. We are talking about the specific crime reconstruction. You find that there are category of death whereby we say natural death uh, result due to disease or an internal malfunction due to old age. Homicide when a person kills another person. Suicide, basically the act of causing one's own death on intention. The accidental death due to accident, uh, I highlighted it before. So for homicide reconstruction now, it involves if one person kills another. Then arson scene investigation involves the study of fire damages, physical evidence, and crime scene to detect arson. uh, White collar crime reconstruction. A white collar crimes refers to a financial motivated or non-violent or non-directly violent crimes committed by individuals, businesses, government professionals. This might include a wage theft, fraud, bribery, and money laundering. So B, specific events reconstruction. It involves the sequence determination, directional determination, position determination, relational determination, conditional determination, and identity determination. So it depends now the aim of the IO, the investigating officer. So if the investigative officer mentions certain uh, objective which must be done by the scientist, so it's now specific. Uh, so degree of involvement reconstruction. So now it includes the total case reconstruction, partial case reconstruction, limited events reconstruction, and specific pattern reconstruction. Those are all partial. But in total case reconstruction, it involves a variety of discipline in the case. So the specific type of physical evidence reconstruction. So in this we include the pattern evidence. For example, if there's shooting, we can say shooting investigation evidence. And if it includes the serological evidence, then the serological evidence to be included. So the types of reconstruction depends on the nature of the crime. The question needing to be answered, the type of events that have taken place, and the reconstruction that is based on the degree of involvement. So when doing crime scene reconstruction, it involves several steps. So in this tutorial, step one, state the problem. The type of crime and the legal requirement have to be noted. Then for step two, you collect the data, record checks, and police checks, interview the victims, the witness, and the suspect. If to try to get additional witness and the comparison samples from suspect. So for step three, you form the hypothesis now. Look at the all evidence, determine motive and the possible suspects. And for step four, test the hypothesis now. Evaluate how truthful and reliable the story are. Weigh their stories against the physical evidence. Then for step five, follow up the most promising hypothesis theory. Then draw conclusion supported by court. admissible evidence lead to the arrest, prosecution, and conviction of the offender. So, what's important about the crime scene reconstruction? So we find that the crime scene reconstruction helps to explain the real thing about the crime scene. It corrects correct identification of evidence to be done and correct analysis to be carried out. So it reduces the error rate because we have used the correct analysis and there was correct evidence identification. So can play a vital role in aiding the jury to arrive at an appropriate verdict. Okay, friends, that's it with the crime scene reconstruction. If you like the video, lectures, subscribe my channel. To get more and more video, share video with your friends. Thank you.